Captain Ethan Cole, a highly decorated Air Force pilot, stood at the gates of the White House. His uniform was immaculate, but sweat coated his palms. He wasn't here for a medal or ceremony. He was here because of a secret he'd kept for a decade. One only the President could help him resolve. As the Secret Service escorted him to the Oval Office, his heart pounded. Behind the resolute desk, President Donald Trump looked up from his paperwork. Their eyes met. "Captain Cole," Trump said, setting his documents aside, "I hear you have something urgent to share." Ethan hesitated, then gathered his courage. "Mr. President, I need your help with something I've buried for years. It involves a mission I took part in, a promise I made, and now I need to fulfill that promise." Trump leaned back, watching him closely. "Go on." Ethan inhaled deeply. 10 years ago, I was deployed on a classified mission in Afghanistan. It was supposed to be routine, intel collection only. No engagement, but everything changed in an instant. Trump folded his arms. "I'm listening." "We were flying over hostile territory when we intercepted a distress signal. A local informant, Rafi, who had assisted U.S. forces, was trapped. We weren't supposed to intervene, but I made the call." Trump nodded. Ethan continued, his voice thick. "We saved Rafi. He had protected American lives. In return, I gave him my word that I'd get his family out safely. But things went south. The extraction collapsed. Rafi was executed. His wife and daughter, if they're still alive, have been stranded ever since. I need your help to bring them home." Trump's expression turned serious. "You're saying we left behind the family of a man who helped us?" "Yes, sir," Ethan replied. "I've spent 10 years searching. Every trail went cold, until now. I recently uncovered a lead, a possible location." Trump drummed his fingers on the desk. "Where?" "A refugee camp in northern Pakistan. I believe they've been in hiding there for years." Trump exhaled. "And you're asking me to authorize an extraction mission?" Ethan met his gaze. "I know it's complicated, but I owe Rafi. He gave everything. I can't let his family suffer anymore." Trump stared at him for a moment, then reached for his phone. "You've got guts, Captain. Let me make some calls." Ethan held his breath. Could the President actually make the impossible happen? Trump picked up the receiver. "Get me General Lawson." Within moments, the line connected. "General, I need intelligence on a refugee camp in northern Pakistan. We may have allies there. Get me confirmation." Ethan felt a surge of hope. Trump wasn't brushing him off. He was acting. "Yes, sir," came Lawson's reply. "We'll begin analysis immediately." Trump hung up. "If they're alive, we'll find them. But you need to be ready. This won't be easy." "I'll do whatever it takes," Ethan said firmly. Trump smirked. "Good, because if we move forward, you're going back in." Ethan's stomach churned. He had expected this, but was he prepared for war again? The following morning, Ethan's phone rang. General Lawson was on the line. "Captain, we've identified the camp. A woman and girl matching the descriptions." "Are there?" Ethan's heart pounded. "Rafi's family?" "Possibly. But there's a catch. The camp is monitored by hostile forces." Ethan clenched his fists. "Then we extract them." Trump's voice cut in. "We will, but it must be a small team, no major military operation. We can't risk sparking an international crisis." Ethan nodded. "Understood, sir." Trump's tone softened. "This mission means something, Captain. You made a promise. Let's keep it." A lump formed in Ethan's throat. "We won't fail." Soon Ethan boarded a military transport bound for the Middle East. where he met his extraction team. 3 elite operatives, all seasoned warriors. Their leader, Major Sarah Hayes, shook his hand. "You must be the one risking it all for a promise." "That's me," Ethan replied. "Then let's get to work," she said, leading him to the strategy room. The plan was simple but risky. Infiltrate at night, retrieve the targets, and get out unseen. No firefight, no losses, only precision. "We have 1 shot," Hayes warned. "If we fail, they're dead?" Ethan nodded. "Then we don't fail." As they suited up, the familiar tension gripped Ethan. He was heading back into danger. But this time, he couldn't afford to fall short. The Black Hawk helicopter sliced through the night air. Ethan gripped his weapon, nerves taut. "This is it," Hayes said over comms. "We land, move fast, and get out. No delays." The pilot began the countdown. 30 seconds. Ethan's stomach turned. He wasn't afraid of combat. He feared letting Raffi down again. 10 seconds. The chopper touched down just outside the camp. Ethan and his team disembarked swiftly, boots silent against the sand. Night vision on, Ethan spotted the right tent. "That's them," he whispered to Hayes. "Let's move." As they closed in, Ethan's chest tightened. Then, footsteps, fast, approaching. They weren't alone. A guard appeared, reaching for his radio. No time to react. Hayes lunged, muffling the guard's mouth. Ethan struck the radio from his hand and knocked him unconscious. "Let's go," Hayes urged. They lifted the tent flap. Inside, 2 frightened faces stared back. A woman and a teenage girl. Ethan knelt. "Raffi sent us. We're here to take you home." Tears welled in the woman's eyes. "After all these years, you came." "Yes," Ethan whispered. "You're safe now." Suddenly, alarms screamed through the camp. "They've seen us!" Hayes shouted. Ethan grabbed the 2 civilians, rushing them from the tent. The camp exploded into chaos, guards yelling, lights flashing. Gunfire erupted as they raced to the extraction point. "Cover fire!" Hayes barked, returning fire. Ethan shielded the family. "We're almost there." The Black Hawk waited, its blades slicing through the wind. "You've got hostiles incoming," the pilot warned. A bullet missed Ethan by inches. "Not today," he muttered. They reached the helicopter. Ethan lifted the woman and girl inside, then jumped in after. "Go!" Hayes ordered. The helicopter lifted off just as enemies swarmed beneath. But it wasn't over. An RPG streaked by, narrowly missing them. "Hang on!" the pilot shouted, swerving. Ethan wrapped his arms around Raffi's family. "We'll make it." A second missile launched. "Flares now!" the pilot barked. Bright flares shot out, throwing off the missile, which exploded in the distance. "We're clear," the pilot announced. Ethan exhaled in relief. "You're safe now," he told the woman. Tears ran down her cheeks. "I never thought this day would come." Ethan nodded. "Raffi made me promise. I had to keep it." They landed at a secure base hours later. Medics tended to the family. Ethan sat nearby, drained. The girl looked at him. "You knew my father?" "Yes," Ethan said gently. "He was the bravest man I ever met," she cried. "They took him from us. We thought no one would come." "I should have come sooner," Ethan said softly. Raffi's wife took his hand. "You came. That's what matters." A soldier approached. "Sir, the president wants to speak with you." Ethan stepped away and picked up the radio. "Captain Cole here." Trump's voice came through. "You did well, Captain. But there's one more step." Ethan tensed. "What is it, sir?" "Raffi's family isn't safe yet. If they stay, they're still targets. I've arranged asylum for them in the U.S. We need to move fast before red tape slows us down. Relief washed over Ethan. Thank you, sir. I just made the calls, Trump said. You did the hard part. Ethan turned to Rafi's wife and daughter. You're going to America. You'll be safe. The girl's eyes widened. Really, after everything, her mother wept. We have a future now. Ethan smiled. Yes, and Rafi would want you to live it. But they weren't out of danger yet. As the team escorted the family to the transport plane, a warning crackled through the radio. Enemy movement near the perimeter. They found us, Ethan said. We need to get them airborne now, Hayes snapped. The engines roared as the family boarded. Ethan stayed behind, scanning the darkness. Movement. Contact. Southeast! Gunfire erupted. Ethan dove, returning fire. They just needed more time. The plane lifted off, soaring into the sky. They made it, Ethan whispered. Hayes grinned. Now let's make sure we do too. The enemy advanced. Ethan and his team pulled back, firing as they moved. Hold until backup arrives, Hayes shouted. Ethan breathed deep, steadying himself. Every shot counted. A mortar struck nearby, shaking the ground. Inside now, Hayes yelled. They sprinted to a bunker as another blast hit. Ethan's thoughts raced. Rafi's family was safe. Now they had to survive. The radio crackled. Reinforcements en route. Hold your position. Ethan looked to Hayes. Can we make it? She smirked. We don't have a choice. They reloaded. The fight wasn't over, but Ethan had already won the battle that mattered most. He had kept the firefight was intense. Bullets zipped through the air as Ethan and his unit held their ground. Where are our reinforcements? Hayes barked. Then came a rumble. Tanks incoming! Someone shouted. Relief flooded Ethan. Help had arrived. Armored. Vehicles tore through the enemy line, shifting momentum fast. An explosion sent debris flying, and Ethan ducked. He looked up to see enemy fighters retreating. We did it! Hayes yelled. The last gunshots echoed, then silence. It was over. Ethan, drenched in sweat, breathed out. All clear, he said. Trump's voice came over the radio. Well done, Captain. You've earned some rest. Ethan chuckled. I'll take you up on that, sir. The mission was over, but its impact lingered. Back in the U.S., Ethan arrived at Andrews Air Force Base. He had carried a broken promise for 10 years, but now he had fulfilled it. You look rough, Captain, said a familiar voice. Ethan turned to see President Trump. Mr. President, he said, shaking hands. You did more than save lives, Trump said. You kept a promise most would forget. Ethan nodded. I couldn't let Rafi's sacrifice go in vain. Trump placed a hand on his shoulder. That's real leadership. For the first time in years, the weight lifted. Rafiq's family had a future, and so did Ethan. Days later, at the White House, Ethan stood in full uniform beside his team. Trump addressed the crowd. Captain Cole kept a promise most would have forgotten. That's integrity. As applause filled the East Room, Trump pinned a medal on Ethan's chest. Outside later, Rafi's daughter gave Ethan her father's. The pendant. He'd want you to have this, she said. Holding it, Ethan felt at peace. Trump joined him. What's next, Captain? Ethan smiled. Whatever comes, sir. But I know one thing. If a promise is worth making, it's worth keeping. Trump nodded. Ethan walked off, not from the past, but toward the future. Rafi would have been proud.